All right, Nick and Andy, let's preview and give our predictions for Chelsea against Benfica in the Champions League. A massive Champions League phase game because of one thing. Mourinho is back at Chelsea. Obviously, he's taken over at Benfica. He's not out of a job long, is he, this man? He's been all over the place in recent years. What do you think about this, Nick? Because this is probably a pretty good time for him to go back to Chelsea, given some of their struggles, the fact that they've lost 3 games in a row now in all competitions. It's a decent time for him to come back there. Still a tall order for him to take Benfica and get someone from Chelsea, but it's kind of character who, we're never going to write off and say that he can't pull off something like this. So this is a more intriguing game than we would have thought of when we first saw it in the schedule for the Champions League.
Well, let's start here. It's a great time for him to go back because he loves when people love him. And I think they still very much love him there.
Yes.
So for him to go as an underdog, and frankly, like, it's not even like he's rolling in there with a team that is expected to get something and so he can be a part villain. No, like, if it's going well for him, it's because Chelsea's messing up. And so I think you kind of see it a little bit in his pre-match comments where he talks about going back and how he still loves the club and it's made him sad to see them not at their pinnacle, but he likes their coach now. So anybody he's going to have to deal with on the day is going to be like, oh, Jose. So I'm all for it. And over time, there was a period of time where he drove me bonkers. We've been on a reverse curve, like Porto magic. Wow, this guy. Then it was all right. And now it's back to like, can you believe this guy's still doing this? And I love it. So it is a good time, I think, to go there, especially after Chelsea-Brighton.
Yeah, it's true. Andy, I mean, obviously when we're talking about Mourinho and Benfica a bit more, but focusing on Chelsea, as we mentioned, a lot of injury issues, a lot of defeats, kind of just imploding, like self-imploding. A lot of these red cards are causing them unnecessary problems. Enzo Maresca isn't under any pressure, I don't think. He's got credit in the bank, but the fans are kind of getting on him a little bit, but be kind of harsh, I think, at this point, given he did a really good job last season, the trophies they won, the Club World Cup, obviously, again, brought success there. But I think we're seeing the same kind of problems from a tactical point of view with Chelsea, and then also with the injury issues. That is going to be the big problem, I think, for him in the coming months as he tries to juggle all these games, because especially defensively, they've looked really shaky so far this season.
Yeah, and that's where the injuries have hit him the worst, losing Colwell right before, the start of the season. And that hurts, obviously, defensively, but I think it hurts them in possession just as much in the way that they build out of the back and they are able to progress the ball up the field without having to counterattack, without having to get it wide to Estevao or to Pedro Neto, that they have other ways to create chances. And especially with Cole Palmer now out of the team and this groin injury that keeps coming up and going away and then coming back. It's an unbalanced squad, I think. And I think we knew that going into the season, just based on where they have spent all of the money that they have. There's a lot of really good wide attackers in the team. Don't know that they fit together into any, kind of a logical formation or system to play together. And so you end up with Enzo Fernandez, who very good player, but if that's your 10, you're going to struggle to create chances at that end of the field as well. And so, they're kind of actually, I'm thinking about it now, is their best route to play the old school Mourinho style where it's very defensive and it's just strictly on the counterattack, and just be kind of nasty to play against. Because if you've got a midfield trio of Caicedo, Fernandez, and whether it's going to be Andre Santos or Romeo Lavia in there, if he can ever get back to fitness, that's at least hard to break down, and I think solves a lot of their defensive issues. Again, you're still going to struggle going forward, but yeah, so it's Chelsea kind of like a dog chasing its tail right now. To fix one thing, you kind of have to break another part of the team, and I think you should probably always lean towards, well, let's be solid defensively, and we'll let the rest kind of worry about itself.
The problem is, I just don't know that's in Maresca's DNA. I mean, when they have total control of games, then they've got the ball so much that the other team just doesn't have that ability to have the tempo of the game, control, create chances, and that's how they defend, right? But
would be great if he decided to pull it out to face Jose, though, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be the ultimate compliment in some ways. Nick, when we talk about Benfica, obviously looking at the results, been pretty positive since Mourinho's come in. They have a big game against Porto at the weekend coming up as well, which, huge game in Portuguese football, and they're only a point behind Porto.
Especially with Mourinho there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine what that's going to be like. But, 4-2-3-1 is kind of how we expect, almost like a 4-5-1 from him. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt when it comes to pulling results out away from home in the Champions League. So this won't phase him. But there's no real big superstars in this team. I guess Pavlidis up top has scored quite a few goals this season, but there's a nice combination of some younger attackers. You got Otamendi at the back trying to, bring through a young group of defenders there as well. Very much a team in transition compared to the success Porto and Sporting Lisbon have had in recent seasons. But I kind of like this fit for Mourinho, but maybe this game has come a little bit too early in this project at Benfica.
Yeah, I think that's right. And the other thing with Chelsea, I think we've seen this in the Premier League this season, where we are judging teams. And look, I don't know if this is crazy. I've never sprung this on you guys, but 5-6 years ago when we were doing shows like this, we were talking about how the money into the Premier League is going to make every game difficult, and they're going to be, except for the promoted teams, they're never going to be an off day. And I think about that when a team like Chelsea doesn't have Cole Palmer and can't get the job done, when Man City loses Haaland or Rodri and can't get the job done. It used to be that the big boys were so big that they could lose 3, 4, 5 guys and you'd still expect them to comfortably win. And that's kind of what I think it is with Chelsea. And I think we'll see in this game that sort of golf. Nothing against Benfica because they're a team in transition. If it was someone like Porto who has Agahoa or are really at the peak of their powers, I might be worried. But Mourinho is going to go there, especially with Porto at the weekend, as you mentioned. I mean, is that the Champions League surprise, at least in my lifetime, was what Porto was able to do with Mourinho. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you do see them just trying to cobble together a result or not have their goal differential get a hit. Although, of course, they did have a shocking result in the first match day, and they do have to start to get some points.
Yeah, they really do. But so do Chelsea as well, looking at some of the fixtures they have coming up in this competition. Some really tough games coming up. Barcelona, Napoli, still to play in the group phase. So it's tough. It's tough in this league phase right now. Andy, what score prediction you go with, mate? Because I'm a little bit worried about Chelsea. As I said at the top of this segment, just a bad time for them, I think, to play against a team like Benfica who will sit back, frustrate them, and then can hurt you on the counter.
Yeah, just 1 win in 5 games, all competitions for Chelsea, and that's against Lincoln City. No disrespect in the League Cup. It's been a really tough time, and I'm with you, Joe. I don't see their problems being fixed by this game, and I think it compounds even more. João Pedro, we all like him as a player, and he's a very good kind of 9-10 combination player. That's the last thing that they need with the way that their midfield's structured at the moment, because if he's dropping in and creating, who's he creating for? Creating to? There's no one there. And so it just kind of, it's a lot of meaningless possession, I think, from Chelsea at the moment. So I'm going to say, I want to go 0-0, but I'll go 1-1, I guess.
I went 1-1 as well. So I'm sticking with that. Producer FA says 3-1 to Chelsea. So Nick, who are you going with, mate?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Chelsea again. They're averaging the league's second best possession in the Premier League, and I know they're not turning it into much. I just don't think I think the quality is just going to be too much. Again, 3 games for Mourinho in charge.
Yeah. Andy, do you want to jump in one more point there?
I'm just wondering how much Maresca would love to have Nicholas Jackson still right now.
Yeah, especially with Liam Delap going down injured, for sure. Yeah. So head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com. We'll keep you updated with Mourinho's return to Stamford Bridge. I'm sure we'll get a good reception. It seems like they've forgotten now, those Chelsea fans, that he managed Spurs for a little bit, and they've kind of, he's gone to another couple of clubs since then, and he's still a legend at Chelsea for what he achieved and the trophies he won and all the rest of it. But it's going to be really interesting to see him come up against Chelsea with this Benfica side, given where Chelsea's at right now, the injuries, the lack of form. Intriguing game. Head over to PST for everything you need on Chelsea against Benfica.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long, and for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.